Broadcast of the Lorain County State of the County will follow this meeting. Welcome to another broadcast of the Lorain County Commissioners' General Meeting. Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Thursday mornings at 9:30 at the Lorain County Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings, and as always, you are invited to attend.
Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I hope it does. Be safer down there. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the February 5th meeting of the Lorain County Board of Commissioners. Commissioner Kayla has our dog for the day. This dog needs a lot of loving.
Our featured pet this week is kind of gun shy. Female lab mix. She was found in Elyria. She'll be available for adoption February 7th after 3 o'clock. Looks like she needs some patience, somebody to really take care of her. Stop by our dog kennel and pick up a new pet.
Our thought for the day: do not follow where the path may lead. Instead, go instead where there is no path and leave a trail.
Nice.
I like that one.
It's nice.
Teresa?
Good.
Under Resolutions Number 1, Job and Family Services Bills.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Blair.
Aye.
Investments.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Ms. Blair.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Appropriations.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Blair.
Aye.
Transfers.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Ms. Blair.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Advances, repayments.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Blair.
Aye.
Requisitions.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Is the rent for the North Ridgeville office still on there? Did we have any discussion with Mr. Nabokowski?
I have had discussions with Mr. Nabokowski and Ken Burkhart a couple of weeks ago and indicated the board's desire to them at that time. It was my understanding that they were going to deal directly with the board.
Well,
I
Mr.
think-
Burkhardt is here, and the payment was through January through March. It's $1,600 a month. So we've already incurred January, and we're into February. But I think that there should be some notation, if the board so feels, that we're not going to honor expenses
After
past the first quarter.
Well, if Mr. Burkhart's here,
Do you want to come up, Ken, and discuss this, or?
Morning.
Morning.
Good
Morning,
Mr.
Ken.
Burkhardt.
I just walked in, so I did catch all the conversation, so if you
there
could...
really wasn't any. The conversation was a question directed to myself that did I have discussions with regard to the North Ridgeville office, title office, and the outcome desired by the board with regard to that location. And I said that I had, and I talked to you and Ken, and I have talked to you and Ken extensively.
It's Ron.
Ron, over the last 2 years, and I thought we left it that you and Ron were going to deal directly with the commissioners.
The clerk's position is that, my understanding, that we're going to keep the office open and we're going to pay the rent. We're going to pay for the facility.
That's fine. As long as they're paying for it, it's not coming out of the general fund. I don't
Well, it
have
is
an issue
coming
with
out of the general fund, isn't it?
Well, it won't
No,
be,
it's
it'll be
title
coming out of
Is
our
it
fund, the
just
title fund.
Title money?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's
That's
my
a
understanding
revenue
that...
generating department, correct, Ken?
I'm sorry?
I said that's revenue generating department.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I mean,
How-
it's minimal.
However, I believe there were some agreements made when the rental was entered into that we would be reimbursed some amounts for the payment, and I don't believe that's occurred.
That's accurate, Commissioner. When the office first opened, there was some reluctance upon the board to open a location on Center Ridge Road at the other end of North Ridgeville, and an agreement was crafted between the board and the clerk of courts that the general fund would be reimbursed for expenses and rent, and that has not occurred.
So
We'll have to look at an arrangement. I know that in the past, the title fund has contributed money to the general fund over the years, that we just haven't been in a position to do that because we haven't been generating the revenue that we have. So, I mean, that's something that will have to be discussed with Mr. Nabokowski. But it's my understanding in this new budget round that there's going to be some increase in fees, and I think that the title will benefit from those increases. So I don't put that out of the realm of possibility that we can reimburse the general fund.
Increase at the state level?
Increases
at the state level being authorized?
Right. We haven't had a fee increase since 1993. And we've petitioned the Ohio General Assembly for an increase. We have not received that increase, but I understand in this budget, there will be an increase for title.
And I think Governor Strickland's increasing fees on just about everything in the state of Ohio.
Right. So that would be, we're looking for a $6 increase, and if we do get that, of course, that'll increase our revenue, and then we'll be in a position to discuss reimbursement.
Is that reimbursement for the previous several years or reimbursement for the current year?
I think that'd be based on revenues. That would
Well,
be
yeah.
my assumption.
Well,
Yeah.
Commissioner, I'm just wondering,
Going back
if-
to the original agreement.
what I'm wondering is, since you've only allocated me a certain amount of money to pay for leases, since we're responsible for lease space, the commissioners are, and I am responsible to you for paying those things, you haven't given me any additional allocation of resources. So I'm wondering what I'm paying for and what I'm not. So I'm just looking for clarification for this year right now on who's going to pay that rent. Otherwise, I'll be coming back to you and asking you for more money.
And you're not getting it.
Right.
So he's saying it's coming out of title funds, not general fund at this point.
Ridgeville is coming out of, we've made.
Okay, all right, yeah, we haven't talked since the last time you and I and Ron had a
Okay.
discussion, so I wasn't sure how that had all worked out at the end of the day. What about the utilities, Yvonne?
I have to check on those, Jim. I'm not sure about the utilities. I know we had a purchase order for the general fund. We closed it out, and they took it over for the title.
Yeah, I think it's our intent to go ahead and pay the utilities as well as pay for the total operation of the.
That was our discussion last week, Ken, when I was talking to you about it up here prior to the meeting, that you guys said you were taking it over, so.
Right. So,
We'll forward those utilities over to them, Jim.
Okay, and we're all just, and, you know, I understand how tight things are where they can, and we're all just trying to figure out how to get the most squeeze out of
Yeah.
the budget that we've been given.
so.
You have that in both of your lives, don't you?
Well, we're
That's
doing
why he's
the
not
best
running
we can.
again.
No, we're doing the best we can. It is a difficult environment for, car sales are down, which, you know, that affects our revenue. So hopefully with the stimulus package, and I heard that they're gonna get people, try to get a tax credit for automobiles and homes, so hopefully that'll push sales and push up revenue for.
We just want you to be aware that that operation in North Ridgeville has to be a no-cost operation to the general fund.
We're definitely aware of that. And
Okay.
Mr. Cortez has definitely made us aware of that. So-
Thanks, Ken. Sometimes I think they don't believe me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Okay.
Ken.
Thanks, Ken.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye,
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Travel expenses?
so moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski?
Aye,
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Bills?
so moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Under the Commissioners, authorize various personnel actions as indicated on the summary sheet for employees within the jurisdiction of Lorraine County Commissioners.
Mr. Cortez?
Thank you, Madam President. I do not have a personnel summary sheet this morning. I'm not sure why, and even usually when something isn't on, I get one indicating that we don't have any action. But I do have a desire to update the board on my meeting with the bargaining unit last night and to seek your guidance with respect to our positioning and some of the outcomes from our discussions. And that's a permissible subject under the Sunshine Law since we are discussing bargaining unit issues. So I would request an executive session at the conclusion of our regular board meeting today to do so. Thank you.
Approve and waive the reading of the same for Lorraine County Board of Commissioners meeting minutes for January 21st, 22nd, and 29th.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Instruct the clerk to advertise for bids for paper products, trash liners, and cleaning products. Notice will be in the Chronicle on February 13th and 20th, and bids to be open at 2 o'clock on February 27th.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Authorize the buyback of 80 hours of sick time to Alan Wax, City of Alariah bailiff, at the cost of $825.38, which reflects the county's 2/5 share.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Approve the semi-annual revolving loan fund report for July 1st, 2008 through December 31st, 2008 as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Instruct the clerk to advertise public notice for filing of an application on behalf of Region 4, which includes Huron County, Lorain County, City of North Ridgeville, and City of Norwalk, with the State of Ohio for the Neighborhood Stabilization Program in the amount of $2,376,372. Notice will be in the Journal and Norwalk Reflector on February 6th, and applications can be viewed at the offices of Lorain County Community Development and Huron County Commissioners and online at www.loraincounty.us beginning February 11th through the 26th.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Rebecca, did you want to comment on this since we're taking lead? I noticed I was going to go on the website to see, and it wasn't until February. Hey, Jim? We just blew a fuse or something over here.
Blew a few. What are you doing, Madam President?
Something happened.
Hold on one second. There we go.
Oops.
Okay.
All right, no,
We
no,
can
no
see.
touching up here.
I didn't touch anything.
Okay, yes, Commissioners, just an update. We are the lead administrator for Region 4, and we are, in fact, working to put the application together. The application is not ready to be posted yet, but it has to be online February 11th, so it can be viewed for 15 days prior to submittal to the state, which is February 27th. The allocation for our region is $2,376,372. That does include the 10% that is allowed for admin. So that's the total amount that we'll be going for. The application is not competitive. However, if we don't put together a strong application with really clearly identified target areas and the reasons for identifying those target areas, we could receive a little bit less than that. However, we've held 2 planning committee meetings. We have identified the target areas for Region 4, and we are moving forward. I think we have a good application that we're putting together, and pretty excited about the project itself.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Under EMA Homeland Security, authorize local emergency planning district to apply for the $71,000 to the State Emergency Response Commission for County Hazmat Program.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Under Solid Waste, amend Resolution 0932 adopted January 15, 2009, improving the community grant funding request for the year 2009 paid from the account recycled grants. Said amendment is to reflect Columbia Township grant was $54,718, not $10,973.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Under Transit, approve and enter a monthly MOU for 6 buses owned by First Transit in the amount of $850 each to be released to the Transit, effective February 6th, containing a 30-day cancellation clause, and authorize county administrator to execute on behalf of the Board of Prosecutors' approval as to form.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Under the engineer, approve and enter into participation agreement with ODOT for the purchase of sodium chloride for the years 2009-2010 winter season. An estimate of 16,000 tons will be delivered and stockpiled at the various garages. 8,800 at the county, 2,400 at Columbia Township, 1,600 at Grafton Township, 1,600 at Wellington Township, and 1,600 at Henrietta Township.
It's a lot of salt. So moved.
I'll second, noting
Discussion.
that the price of this salt is $43.33 per ton, and then we can deduct $2 if the piled price is used.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Amendment Resolution 08847 adopted November 25th, 2008, awarding contract to Pogemeyer Design Group in the amount of $18,000 to prepare plans and specifications for the additional turn lanes at Opportunity Way and State Route 301. Said amendment is to reflect this will be paid from accounts professional services, not the engineering bond fund, highway planning construction.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Cortez, County Administrator?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The one note with regard to number 17, I believe we also now are in possession of our buses that we purchased from Greene County, Ron?
Yes.
We had First Transit go down and pick up seven used buses. I'm pleased to tell you that we now have buses that only have 240,000 miles on them rather than 540 or 640,000. Greene County had to dispose of them, but they replaced their fleet at a much younger age than we do, and there's a good amount of service life left in those buses, and they were very cordial to us and offered us a very good price so that we could use them in our fleet until we find resources to get on a better replacement program. And we should be putting them into service probably in the next week or so. We got to do a little branding on them and things like that. There's been some complaints as to the material condition of some of our buses. I've been receiving them. They went into the winter in a safe condition, but from an aesthetics standpoint and a shake, rattle, and roll, what I call it standpoint, they're pretty beat up. And we are trying with what is available to us to make sure we keep good rolling stock, but we do not roll buses out onto the road that have not passed a safety inspection prior to picking up passengers. And I just want to put that out there because there seems to be at least a perception by some people that the fleet may be unsafe. And while it's old, it's aged, and it looks its age, it is not unsafe. So I'll update you more fully as we get that rolling stock on the road. Thanks, Commissioner. That's all I have to report this morning.
Mr. Flanagan, Assistant County Prosecutor?
I have no reports this morning, and I will not need an executive session with the board.
Very good.
Commissioners report.
Yes, I'd like to thank the Lorain County Chamber of Commerce and Lorain County Community College and all of our staff that worked very hard to put together our State of the County address yesterday. After it was over with, though, I ran into Jerry Dahl, who is our director at Golden Acres Nursing Home. Unfortunately, I had my piece that I was doing, Ted had his, and Betty had hers, and neither one of us knew what the other one was going to be speaking on, and Golden Acres got left out. And they are one of our great stories to tell, and I feel really bad about it. But we did get some information from Jerry Dahl. She does a great job out there, and let me just read you what she sent to us. The county nursing home continues to provide quality, skilled nursing rehabilitation services to the residents of Lorain County. They also offer a specialized memory care center for those dealing with Alzheimer's disease. Enjoying and entertaining activities is an important role in promoting health. One of the highlights for the year was making the local and national news when the residents and staff nurtured 2 baby goats after being abandoned by their mother. Golden Acres had a positive bottom line, way to go, for 2008, adding to the reserve of a total of $2.5 million. Prior to Ted and I becoming commissioners, the County General Fund had to subsidize the home, so that's really great news. They employ a total of 76 dedicated staff members, including 6 RNs, 17 LPNs, 26 STNAs, and 27 support staff. The average resident occupancy rate was 90%, which was 16 skilled, 19 or 16% skilled, 19% self-pay, and 65% Medicaid. A total of 32% of residents discharged were able to return to their home after reaching therapy goals. Golden Acres continues to exceed expectations as seen in the Ohio Department of Aging Family Satisfaction Survey with an overall score of 89.2%. God bless you. Economic challenges due to inadequate Medicaid funding over the past 5 years. Golden Acres is represented by Ohio Healthcare Skilled Nursing Home Coalition. The coalition is requesting that Governor Strickland increase the statewide average Medicaid rate by 3% over the next 2 years so that patient care is not jeopardized. This action is imperative just to cover the cost of caring for patients who have more care needs, requiring more staff time and increases in medical supplies. So thank you, Jerry. We apologize for leaving you out. Like I told you yesterday, you're one of the best kept secrets in Lorain County. So that's my report.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yeah, just like to thank again the Chamber, the college, and all of our staff for putting together a great program here today on the state of the county. Without you guys, we couldn't accomplish what we get done up here passing resolutions. So, again, very nice job. Thank you, everyone, for attending, and watch it on the local college channel.
That's it?
That's it.
Amen. That means I agree. I do want to comment on,
I'm not scared of that.
Go ahead.
it's my turn?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, I noticed. Just like in school, you were probably talking when the teacher was trying to talk. I'm going to bring my ruler next week.
Hey, sister, buddy.
Yeah, right. The Morning Journal had a nice article on the death of Dr. Paul Kopsch, and he wore many hats. He wore many hats, but one of them that they did not mention was the fact that he was an appointee of the Lorain County Board of Commissioners to the Lorain County TB Clinic starting on April 1st, 1991 until his death, which netted out about 18 years of service to Lorain County. And he was a personal friend of ours, and I was very pleased to have recommended his nomination for service on that board, and I wanted to publicly announce that for the benefit of anybody who really cared, especially the people who use the services of the TB Clinic. He was quite a guy. And that's my report.
Commissioners will meet Tuesday, February 10th at 9:30. 10 o'clock is the continued public hearing on the rock tile ditch, Columbia Township. Board correspondence.
I move the reading be waived.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Blair.
Aye.
Public comment.
Nothing today? Seeing none, I move we go into executive session as outlined by the county administrator.
Second.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Blair.
Aye.
Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Thursday mornings at 9:30 at the Lorain County Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings, and as always, you are invited to attend.
On behalf of the Lorain County Chamber membership and our board, I'd like to thank the commissioners for taking the time to give us this status report today. And certainly, looking back at 2008 and getting an opportunity maybe to hear about 2009. Before we get started with the program, I'd like to make a couple announcements. We have some elected officials here today I'd like to recognize. We have Sue Morano, our state senator. Sue. Mike Dalton and Mark Ballard from Congresswoman Betty Sutton's office. John Hunter from Mayor of Sheffield Village. Tony Krashenko, the Mayor of the City of Lorain. Judy Nedwick, Lorain County Recorder. Mayor Dave Gillock, City of North Ridgeville. Ken Carney, Lorain County Engineer. Tim Pelsick, Sheffield Village. Ann Molnar, City of Lorraine, Council at Large. And Lorraine City Auditor, Ron Mantini. At this time, I would like to call Commissioner, I'd like to call the commissioners up to give their report. We're going to start with Lori Kakowski.
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're enjoying the delicious food that was provided by Lorain Community College. It's delicious, Dr. Church. Thank you for all for coming out on this wonderful Ohio weather day with all the snow. And I found an email that I was sent this week that I think is appropriate for today, so I'm gonna read it to you. A young, inexperienced driver got lost in her car in a snowstorm. She remembered what her dad told her once: if you ever get stuck, some of you must have already heard this, I hear somebody's giggling. If you ever get stuck in the snow, wait for a snowplow truck and follow it. Pretty soon a snowplow truck came by and she started to follow it. She followed the plow for about 45 minutes. Finally, the driver of the truck got out and asked her what she was doing. She explained what her dad told her if she ever got stuck in the snow to follow a plow. The driver nodded and said, "Well, I'm done with the Kmart parking lot. You can follow me over to Sears." I'd like to welcome you all to the State of the County Address. It is my pleasure to serve as board president this year and also to host this event. We will take a look at the work completed in the county during calendar year 2008. But first, I want to thank the Lorain County Chamber of Commerce, President Frank DiTilio, and his staff for putting this wonderful event together. While I'm starting off this program, I will be joined by my fellow commissioners who will discuss the progresses we've made in 2008. Unfortunately, 2009 will continue to be a difficult year. Tough choices needed to be made, and this board has mapped out our course of action. Each commissioner will share their insight into the issues facing Lorain County. The board meets weekly on Thursdays beginning at 9 a.m. The meetings are open to the public and are held on the 4th floor of the administration building in meeting room B. An agenda listing those items to be discussed at each meeting is available at the office of the Board of Commissioners and also on our website at www.loraincounty.us. First, we'll talk about the clerk of the board, Teresa Upton. You want to stand up for a minute, Teresa? She's awesome. We love her. Teresa Upton serves as the clerk of the Board of Commissioners. She keeps our minutes and public documents in order for us. She is responsible for setting the board's agendas, scheduling public hearings and bid openings, and recording all actions of the board, which are then preserved as permanent records in the commissioners' journals. The entire meeting is electronically recorded and videotaped and is available at a cost from our Lorain County Records Center. The clerk handled 50 regular, 2 special, and 1 emergency meeting. These meetings, which last anywhere from 30 minutes to 3 hours, resulted in 760 pages of minutes containing over 460,000 words. Minutes are also available on the Commissioner's Clerk's page. In 2008, of the 945 resolutions adopted ranging in scope from providing for day-to-day operations, services, and maintenance of county facilities to the improvement and construction of bridges, ditches, sewer and water lines, road vacations, annexations, setting county policies, submitting grant applications for victims assistance, drug court, criminal justice, and mental health. Also home rehabilitation and job training, the promotion of economic development, and the purchase of real estate, all in good faith for Lorain County residents. The clerk is affiliated with the professional organizations that provide networking and opportunities for continuing education. In December, Teresa was appointed as district representative to the executive board. Teresa is a very hardworking individual, dedicated, and is also a very pleasure to work with. Our next department is 911. The board is pleased to celebrate 20 years of service to the residents of Lorain County. Director Robin Jones, I know she's here. Where are you at, Robin? Stand up. In the back. Robin and her staff had an excellent year in 2008, receiving all 911 calls placed within the boundaries of Lorain County, whether made from a residential or business phone, wireless payphone, or internet phones. They handle over 200,000 calls per year. They also dispatch for multiple fire and EMS agencies. They serve as point of contact for poison control, helicopter services, county hazmat, and technical rescue, as well as many other services. They have at their disposal language lines that can translate over 200 languages. Phase 2 wireless was completed in February of 2008 and provides the approximate location using latitude and longitude coordinates of a caller using a GPS-enabled handset. The approximate location is displayed in the dispatch center. 65% of call volume is received from wireless calls, which makes Phase 2 wireless an invaluable tool for the dispatch center. The County 911 system is also a 2-time winner of the Ohio Gold Star Group Award for Excellence in Dispatching, serving a volume of 350-plus calls per day. Lorain County 911 answered 568 emergency calls in a 5-hour period during the high wind event in September 14th of 2008. They do an amazing job, and it's good to know that they are here when we need them. Our Record Center, the newly renovated state-of-the-art Record Center, continues to flourish under the direction of our director, Lynn Wallace-Smith. And I didn't see her. Are you here, Lynn? I don't see her, but she does a great job. Records have been cataloged and filed under a controlled and recorded inventory system. In this time of mass record requests, it's critical that all county records be made available, and they do a great job over at the Record Center. And the dog kennel, which is near and dear to my heart. It is located at 247 Hathaway Street in Carlisle Township. It's another facility that serves the many needs of Lorain County residents and, of course, our canine friends. Jack Salempa is our dog warden. I know he's here. Where are you, Jack? He's in the back. The commissioners have made numerous improvements to the operations at the dog kennel. Most recent was maintenance to the catch basins and also in the parking lot. We added a permanent location for trash pickup. We were also able to add 2 exterior fence runs for the people to allow them to spend time with their potential new pet and provide residents with a supervised exercise area. In the interior kennel space, we reconfigured some of our existing cages and added 8 new large cages to accommodate the large dogs and medium-sized dogs. We were able to save a substantial amount of money because our maintenance department was able to move and install the new cages. This provides a better environment for the dogs that call the kennel home on a temporary basis. Residents will also notice a new sign on the west side of the building as they approach their parking space. Office on Aging, Pat Littleton. I think I saw her. Are you here, Pat? I guess I didn't. She's hiding. Director Pat Littleton was busy in 2008 working with consultant George Annitzberger, PhD, on a study of senior citizens' needs. The study was a result of a phone survey, a random geographically stratified sample of seniors taken from records of voters, and several focus groups of seniors conducted at 5 different locations. In addition, surveys were sent to a list of public and private sector agencies that worked with mature residents. The results were compiled and printed in a report that is available at the Lorain County Office on Aging website. And our Lorain County Diner, Ted knows that's another one near and dear to my heart because he knows I like to eat. It's now operated by Bread and Brew from Wellington. For years, the Lorain County Administration Building had a very small cafeteria operated by the Bureau for Visually Impaired. After years of struggles, the visually impaired decided they could no longer provide service to the employees and to the public. As time passed, this service was sorely missed, and we requested that our staff research ways to bring it back. After much discussion, a few setbacks, and a whole lot of work, we were able to entice Lil Clout, owner and operator of Bread and Brew, to operate the Lorain County Diner, located in the lower level of the administration building. This relationship has been a win-win for all involved. The county is able to pay back its investment through rent and vending commissions. Employees and the public that visit the administration building, Justice Center, courthouse, and downtown Elyria have a wonderful place to get fresh, delicious food, and Lil has made a success out of the business. In the process of taking care of an immediate need, the county was able to assist a small business to expand into a new market, create 3 new jobs, and provide a service for people who visit Lorain County buildings. The Lorain County Department of Job and Family Services is the largest department in the county government. It's operated under the leadership of Mary Lou Golsky. Are you here, Mary Lou? She's busy today, I'm sure. Here are some impressive yet staggering statistics for 2008. The number of individuals registered by the receptionist at the front desk was over 130,000. The number of phone calls received by the 2 main phone line operators was over 300,000. The Income Maintenance Call Center handled over 147,000 calls. The number of applications received for cash, medical, and food stamp benefits were over 11,000. The number of child care applications authorizing and allowing individuals to maintain employment or attend training to prepare for the workforce was 1,647. The Child Support Amnesty Program collected over $134,000 in August of 2008, in which 503 licenses were reinstated. Last year, that number was only 94,300, in which 368 licenses were reinstated. This program is working for those parents struggling to receive their child support. The employees at Job and Family Services work very hard, as you can see by the number of people that they take care of. In my opening statement, I spoke of the tough choices that needed to be made. We as a board passed a 0.5% emergency sales tax to continue to provide the necessary and needed services that the residents of Lorain County expect and deserve, and those that are mandated by the state. We are in critical times, not just here, but all over this country. The safety of our citizens and our deputies are on the line. We're going to need your help and your support to help pass the tax when it comes before the voters in November. If the tax does not pass, we are looking at another 15% cut on top of the 20% cut we already instituted. We need to bring our people back to work, especially our safety forces. 50 cents on $100 of discretionary spending is a small price to pay for the quality of life the people of Lorain County rely on. It is now my pleasure to introduce Commissioner Ted Kayla. Thank you all.
Good afternoon. Not a bad turnout for the weather. Again, Frank, you got to work on your dates with the Farmer's Almanac. Chamber always does a nice job. I apologize to Frank for not making it last week because the weather was so bad, but we were busy entertaining another company for Lorain County. My portion is an update on what the county's gone through in other departments that we have. A lot of people aren't aware of what the county commissioner is actually doing, what we're in charge of. We understand the economy's been failing. No one has been immune to the economic conditions we're all experiencing, and we've got to work cooperatively to solve our problems. I'll give you an overview of what we've been able to accomplish with the downturn economy, and then we'll talk about what we need to do. First of all, last year, for the press that's here, probably the #1 issue that was a part of county government that we didn't have much control over was the Basco Bridge in downtown Lorain. The county operates the bridge for the state, ODOT's bridge, but we do the daily operations, and I'd like to applaud Chuck Mackin and his staff, if they're here, for such a fine job they did working through all those issues. It was very long, drawn out, a lot of pitfalls and delays, but we have the bridge open now, and businesses on both sides, including my own, are glad the bridge is up. So that was one of the saving things that we finally worked our way through. On our workforce development, which is something I do a lot of the economic development. The board's been kind enough to let me be involved. Vivian Alexander with our workforce investment and her staff have done a yeoman's job with the limited dollars we have. Last year alone, her staff worked with 300 participants through tutoring, mentoring, internships, and through work experiences. And how that's done in the county is we work cooperatively through many agencies, the Boys and Girls Club, Elyria YWCA, Lorain County Urban League, our Domestic Relations Court, the college, of course, and President Roy Church, and the Lorain County Joint Vocational School through educational programs and workforce training. Last year, federal funds alone spent over $675,000 for those programs. Another big part of our workforce training is what we call our Project 10, the incumbent worker training. When I first ran for office, coming from the private sector, that was one of the big issues I talked about. I said, we have to have a way to get those state and federal dollars to Lorain County to help our employers with their employees. Well, it's been one of our better successes the last 3 years. We're actually being modeled across the state of Ohio on what we've been able to accomplish. We've taken teams to Washington, D.C. to labor on behalf of our workforce investment and our incumbent worker training. What the Project 10 does, it gives small and medium-sized employers up to 300 employees the ability to get up to 50% of their training costs paid for by federal dollars. It's been very successful. We've got a great team who works on that through our growth partnership. In 2008 alone, 57 Lorain County companies made inquiries for assistance, 17 applied, and 15 actually went into the program. We were able to, at a 50% cost, train 787 employees for local companies to make them better employees, to make the companies more successful, and they went back and trained a total of 1,713 additional employees. That's more than a success story based on the economy we're facing. And in 2009, it looks like that program will be utilized even more. Please, if you're out there, you're looking for training dollars to make your staff better, please contact the County Commissioner's Office. We'll put you in direction of the people who can help you. Tying into that is our Community Development Department. Rebecca Jones, who's our interim director because we have not replaced the full-time director because of monetary concerns, has been extremely busy in the past year. Her staff received over $500,000 in CHIP funding to help with distressed homes in Lorain County. We help all the cities that are not Lorain, Elyria, or North Ridgeville who have problems. So if you live outside of those three main cities, call Community Development. We'll be able to help the people in your neighborhoods who are having hard times taking care of their homes, anywhere from furnace replacements to roof repairs to a myriad of services. And tying in the housing crisis we have, the Neighborhood Stabilization Program is now out and running. Rebecca and her staff, again, are working to complete the application. It's going to encompass Lorain County and Huron County working cooperatively, and they are trying to get the package ready for by February 27th in Columbus, I believe is Rebecca's cutoff date. Despite the downturn in the economy, and I keep going back to that, the department did work with 13 of the 127 companies that made inquiries at our County Community Development Department. They had a hand in creating 517 new jobs. That's not near the numbers we had in prior years where we had a total of over 2,400 in 2 years. But again, the way things are going, it was admirable and they did a great job. And 507 of those jobs were Lorain County residents, which is a bonus. And the private sector, which is what drives the economy, had about $151 million capital investment in our county in 2008. We have been working, again, I'm going to keep tying things together as we go. On top of that, for the private sector investment, we have our Lorain County Port Authority, which is our financing arm of county government, which we were trying to expand and make grow. In 2008, they issued over $12 million in bonds, and the first of the year, hopefully by the end of the first quarter, Kennel of Oberlin's new expansion where they're adding on at, will complete another deal on financing. So county government is very involved on the community development end. Again, any questions, please call us. We have our Lorain County Growth Partnership, and it's the no wrong door approach, as I've been told by a few people. I'd like to thank Lorain National Bank. I think I saw Dan Klimas here earlier, and just in passing, thank you, Dan. We did work with Lorain National Bank and Lorain County Board of Commissioners to get an $8 million line of credit, so we have available financing when deals do come to the table. I'd like to thank Steve Morey with Team Lorain County, one of our founding partners of the Lorain County Growth Partnership. He's been working on the attraction piece for Lorain County, bringing companies here. That's one of the biggest things we can work on. He shows the benefits of coming here, our friendly, available business atmosphere, our qualified workforce. He shows them job-ready sites. He shows them the existing buildings we have on just working with Steve on a project, myself, the City of Lorain, Congresswoman Sutton's office, 2 or 3 projects in the past year trying to fill the old Lorain Ford plant and IRG company. Again, I thank you for that. Last year, they responded with over 100 leads with detailed proposals. These companies came in looking for information, and Team Lorain County and the partnership, Lorain County Growth Partnership, and the real teams that we put together for retention, expansion, attraction, and leadership, were able to give 100 detailed proposals out to them. Steve also works hand in hand with the State Department of Development, and again, he is one of the shining stars we've got up and coming in Lorain County. Another part of our growth partnership is our new program called Business Connections. We are working cooperatively with a group led by Phil McKee. I don't know if Phil made it or not, but Phil is leading our group for collecting business data around the county. It's similar in process to what the city of Lorain is doing also. We hope to meld information. If you haven't heard from them for collecting business data, they'll be calling you in 2009. Again, very important information we need to push Lorain County forward. Next area of economic development is our Lorain County Regional Airport. That airport, again, is a benefit to this community. We've been able to cut the subsidy from the Board of Commissioners prior to myself and Commissioner Kakowski's first term. There was over $1 million a year given to that county airport. We've cut it now down to $225,000. We have a private entity, Johnson Aviation, with Rob Johnson and Doug McConnell running day-to-day operations. We were able to invest money there last year between CDBG funds and TIF financing, upgrade the sewers, upgrade the utilities, upgrade gas lines. We were able to improve T-hangars, carousel hangars. Along with that, John Wynn Corporation started phase 1 of a $6 million expansion out there with the first set of new condo hangars built and occupied. Again, that is our next move to attract companies here. And as I talk about what we've got going on, our Transportation Improvement District, myself, Commissioner Kakowski, Commissioner Blair, Administrator Cordez, County Engineer Ken Carney, now State Senator Sue Morano, who's part of it, made the first meeting she was appointed. Our Transportation Improvement District, we worked on 2 major projects. One is a new road from our county airport right to Route 20. We sit in a large metropolitan area. That airport will drive our next development through our new industrial park we're trying to establish out there. Also with the TID, we're still working on a north-south corridor. We have been able to finish phase 1 design. We've downscaled the project. It's something I first came into office talking about. We need to have access to Columbus, people covering from the south. It'll be a little bit smaller project, but that has also gone through phase 1 and design, and we're looking for funding for it. Emergency management agency, I don't know if Tom Kelly made it. Did I see Tom here today? Oh, hey, Tom. Now, Tom's a guy who has done amazing things with our emergency management. Actually, he is the outgoing president of the State Emergency Management Association, correct? Outgoing now. He was in charge of the county's incident management team, which puts together the plans. Actually, the first team in the country that did all their training locally versus going to Washington, D.C., which is saving dollars in the long run for everybody. They had a couple major incidences this year. Probably the most standout was the General Industries fire on July 3rd. The County Mobile Command Post, which is sort of like, you ever seen the movie Stripes? The really big RV, that's sort of what I compare it to. But it was activated. Tom's in charge. It assisted 24 fire departments from 6 counties and a dozen law enforcement agencies to contain that fire. Did a job well done, Tom and his staff. Our budget and purchasing departments, our budget director is Lisa Hobart, I know who's out with pneumonia, and then Yvonne Newton runs our purchasing department. I don't know if Yvonne made it or not, somewhere around here. No, she didn't make it. They've been working harder than ever. Declining revenues, increasing expenses. They've been monitoring all of our expenditures closely. They're looking for options to provide better answers for us to find better options for our purchasing and operating our departments. Yvonne and her staff, they've been doing cost containment studies, and they're focusing on new procedures, and we're looking for the lowest and best price on products, so everything's open to negotiation at this point. Our Children's Family First Council is a feel-good part of our organization. Melissa Stefano and her staff do a wonderful job. The commissioners are very involved. Melissa here? I didn't see her. Oh, hi, Melissa. I didn't see you back there. You're so tiny. We've been able to restructure the Help Me Grow program, the newborn baby and first baby programs, which are very important to the constituents of Lorain County. They're children who need help. It's available to them. And we have jumped feet first into helping restructure. I'd like to thank County Administrator Cordez and Assistant County Administrator Ron Twining for all their work on it. It was major issues a couple years ago. We met with the organizations involved, and I think we found a fix for it, at least temporarily. Melissa runs 8 programs from family support groups, lending library with a partnership with the MRDD, maternal depression screenings, literacy support, the Help Me Grow, family success through Help Me Grow, and the Ohio Children's Trust Fund. And actually on July 3rd of last year, we had the honor of having First Lady Frances Strickland join us in Lorain County to go over our needs and the local impact that issues have on us. She did a great job. She really cares, so I'd like to thank Frances Strickland for everything she's done with that program. The Sanitary Sewer Department, Ken Carney, our county engineer, runs that as our director, and a lot of work was put into the West Side Sewer Interceptor project, which is a sewer, basically Baumhart Road going south. All design was completed. We've had some complaints that we expended those dollars, but for Lorain County to grow, our west side has to grow. I believe Mr. Carney also put that on our request for our federal stimulus package to push that West Side Interceptor forward. They were also busy. We completed 11 sewer projects at the end of 2007, completing in 2008 that had been on the boards over 30 years, and the EPA was fining us for it. We were able to negotiate a lower fine and also get those package plants running up to par. Thank you, Mr. Carney. From a personal standpoint, I spent a lot of time in 2007 working on our state energy bill, working with a group Ohio Environment, that is very involved in alternative energy. About a month ago, 3 weeks ago, President-elect at that time, Obama, was at Cardinal Federal in Bedford Heights. I had the opportunity to be there with Governor Strickland, Lee Fisher, Congresswoman Betty Sutton, who now serves on the Energy Committee at the national level for us, and Peter Lawson-Jones and Tim Hagan from Cuyahoga County. Got an opportunity to meet President Obama. Didn't get a lot of time to talk to him, but he is in front of the issues on alternative energy, and that's our next new frontier in Lorain County in Ohio. I've talked to State Senator Sue Morano, State Rep Joe Kazura, State Representative Matt Lundy. This is one of the issues we need to push. I am making it a forefront for what I'm going to work on this year. We have a lot of good things in Lorain County. We just need to step forward and do them. The new turtle plastics, well, not new, the new wind turbine and turtle plastics is the beginning of wind energy in Lorain County, I guess you could say. We need to push the envelope farther. We need to work to draw more manufacturers here. Lorain County has a great base. We have a lot of manufacturers who do the parts. We need to cluster them in our area, similar to what Ford's trying to do with their plants around the country. And we need to push forward on that issue, and we're going to ask for everyone's help in that. Now we got to get to the bad news. 2008 was a tough year. 2009 doesn't look any better. We all know the economic downturn that's happening, not just in Lorain County, not just what's happening in Ohio, not just in the United States. This is international. Everybody's feeling the pinch. Companies are no longer just leaving our area. They're shutting down. People are not just relocating for sunnier climates or better work. They're losing their jobs and their homes, and they're becoming desperate to take care of their families. Our cities and county, we're hurting due to loss of tax revenue and expenses that are falling on the public sector to fund additional needs for the public. We're acutely aware that the federal stimulus package for Wall Street hasn't done much for Wall Street, let alone Main Street, folks like you and I. That takes me to the decision the board made a few weeks ago, Commissioner Kakowski commented on. We unanimously decided to raise Lorain County sales tax 0.5%. We held public meetings. We had mixed results. Most of them against the additional tax. There's no bones there. But the board decided, even though it wasn't politically correct or probably politically astute, it was the right decision to make. Because if we hadn't made the decision, the consequences are even worse. We've decided to dedicate the sales tax to funding the criminal justice system. It's bulging at the seams, extremely high workload. This economic downturn has people who before would have never had problems are now seeing firsthand what county government provides, from foreclosure court, to the programs that seemed everyone else used to use. The jail's overcrowded, the courts are backed up, and unfunded mandates have used up all of the funding. The sheriff's deputies spend their time doing sexual predator notifications in our neighborhoods, delivering warrants to folks who didn't show up in court, and transporting the overwhelming amount of prisoners back and forth to court. This isn't a rural issue versus city issue or North Lorain County versus South Lorain County. This affects everyone. As we have concerns about there's no police protection in the townships, we have to worry about, are we going to be notified if sexual predator moves into our neighborhood? These are unfunded mandates that we're required to perform to make sure that all of us know where we're safe at and where we're not safe at. The prosecutor's office, I met with Prosecutor Will yesterday and George Corey, and the clerk of court's office, Ron Kakowski. They're swamped with filings and trials. They can't keep up. We have all taken actions to reduce our budget. I think we're at about 75 layoffs countywide. The Board of Commissioners office this year laid off 17 permanent layoffs. We were down 10 positions the last 3 years that we hadn't filled, knowing we were coming to these shortcomings. The prosecutor's office, everyone in the office took a 15% pay cut. The prosecutor's office between title and criminal, I believe, was 14 or 15 layoffs. It goes on and on. Then we get the new one. The Supreme Court says our Justice Center isn't safe enough. It's another $800,000 to $1 million. About $600,000 a year in additional personnel every year. It goes on and on. We're all looking at President Obama's stimulus package to save us, but we all know that's not going to be enough. We have to take the responsibility of taking care of ourselves, and that is what we are asking from all of you here today. As business people here, we all know it takes money to make money in the private sector, and we are well aware that a community that is falling behind on basic services is a difficult place to succeed. That is why we will not only be asking citizens of this county, but the business people, you and I, to help us get our message out. We need to get this issue passed. It's very important to the future of Lorain County. Prosecutor Will said to me a few weeks ago, it's sort of like trying to turn an aircraft carrier. Once it starts going the wrong way, it takes a long time to get it back right where it's supposed to be at. And I'm going to ask you, just ask yourselves one question. I won't talk anymore. I'll introduce next Commissioner Blair. Why is keeping your community safe important to your future success and the community as a whole? If you sit and think about that, I think you'll realize why we need this sales tax. Thank you for your time. Commissioner Blair.
Good afternoon and welcome. Before I begin my remarks, I'd like to recognize Ann Hill. She is Governor Strickland's representative for our area. Ann, would you stand up so people can see you? Thank you. Not only was 2008 a presidential election year, which saw many impressive candidates and personalities visit Lorain County, it was also an election year for my fellow commissioners, Ted Kayla and Lori Kakowski. I am pleased to be again working with them as we continue our team approach to the government issues facing Lorain County. Today's events on the Lorain County Community College campus remind me of last summer's dedication of the new library just a short walk from where we are seated today. Dr. Church, the Mike and Barbara Bass family, and the Elyria Public Library System, and their director is here, thank you, held an open house for the new library in the summer. What a wonderful facility this is. Lorain County's Board of Revision is kind of like a court of last resort where residents may request to have their tax bills adjusted. In 2007, this board heard an all-time high number of 1,200 cases, compared to nearly 650 in 2008. The filing deadline is March 31st, and to date, 350 applications have been received. Thanks to Deanna Hill for representing the commissioners on this board. Is Deanna Hill here? She does a nice job for us. Thank you, Deanna. Solid waste. In 2008, Dan Billman and his staff, and Dan and staff, I know some of his staff are here. I'd like you all to stand up. You can see who represent us from the Solid Waste Department. Brandy and Marty, thank you. They recommended a total of $1.5 million in grants to 33 communities. $112,000 in special grants that were awarded as quality of life improvement projects and participated in 15 different events and festivals, as well as hosting several contests and educational events. For the 5 different collections, the following was kept from the landfill: hazardous household, 260,000 pounds; e-scrap, 281,697 pounds; tires, 180 tons; bulb and ballast, 35,350 pounds; and battery, 9,294 pounds. Pride Day is solid waste's most notable event, which this year included 22 participating communities, 1,839 volunteers cleaning 69 miles of roadway, 57 parks, 12 miles of trails and/or paths, 29 playgrounds, 6 miles of waterways. In total, 53 bags of aluminum cans were collected and recycled, 90 bags of newspapers, and 177 tons of trash. A total of 251 flats of flowers and 75 trees were planted. Office services. Jennifer, are you here? Jennifer Demich? She does a wonderful job. Thank you, Jennifer. It provides quality printing and graphic design work in addition to serving as a postal hub and paper warehouse for county departments, according to Supervisor Jennifer Demich, which distributes parcels and scanned documents as needed. 503,390 pieces of mail and parcels were logged through office services for 2008 at a total postage cost of $390,000, or an average of $1,500 per day. Letterhead and envelope printing has saved an estimated 30%. Monthly, they print an estimated 41,000 color and 170,815 black and white copies. The Planning Commission. The County Planning Commission and staff supports under direction of Kristen Brandon. Kristen, are you here? In the back. They're all sitting in the back, like church. Thank you, Kristen. They were busy during 2008, having approved 86 lot splits in the unincorporated areas, 2 subdivisions, Columbia Reserve Phase 1 containing 66 lots, and Cherry Hill, 2 lots in Amherst Township. Preliminary approval was extended to Carpenter Farms subdivision, 293 lots in Eaton Township. 19 zoning cases and 16 floodplain permits were reviewed and issued. County subdivision regulations were revised and adopted by the county commissioners. Staff was also very involved with a team that developed erosion and sediment control rules for the county. The building department. 8 of the county's 18 townships are participating in this residential building department. Renewal fees were up $10,000, and reinspection or electrical fees were up nearly 25%. Due to a new requirement that if a house has been vacant for more than 1 year, the electric companies require an inspection before they re-energize residential electrical systems. This policy was instituted since so many homes have been partially stripped while vacant. New contractor registration was 15% below our average, while renewal registration increased by 43%. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Only 1,500 inspections were performed in 2008. Fees paid to the county are down about 10%. Greyhound lines. Early in 2008, Greyhound lines approached the county, noting that due to personal reasons, the agent who had operated the station on their behalf was not able to continue. The commissioners felt that the service offered by Greyhound was too great to allow the service to end. So the county entered into an independent audit agreement with Greyhound using our existing Lorain County Transit offices at 216 3rd Street in downtown Elyria as the bus stop, which leads me to Lorain County Transit. Lorain transit agencies are in a funding crisis due to soaring fuel prices and the chronic underfunding of public transit. Lorain County Transit has faced another difficult year, and in spite of all the challenges, ridership is on the rise. Ohio is the 12th in the nation in transit ridership, but 42nd in terms of committed state funding. Lorain County, Northeast Ohio Area-Wide Coordinating Agency, which is a 5-county Metropolitan Planning Organization, and the Ohio Department of Transportation are working hard to find a temporary solution to keep our existing routes running. Lorain County Transit was successful in receiving $645,431 in congestion mitigation air quality money from ODOT that will provide, at best, a temporary solution to our funding crisis. In 2004, Lorain County was declared as having the oldest fleet of buses in the state of Ohio. This is not a good declaration for our county. The CMAQ funds will be used to purchase new replacement buses. In 2008, Transit declared 10 old buses surplus and purchased badly needed new buses, made small route changes for safety reasons, received $10,659 planning grant from ODOT for research and restructure of 2 county line routes, and secured a new transfer location behind Life Skills Center on West River Road in Elyria. During most of 2008, Robin Bullen was our transit director, but she left for personal reasons. In November, the commissioners entered into a contractual agreement with Richard Enty, a recently retired Cleveland Regional RTA Systems employee. I would like Richard to stand so you can see who's helping us out now. I know he's here. Thank you, Richard. Which leads me to my favorite subject, commuter rail. During 2007 and 2008, the Lorain County Community Alliance, a council of governments supported and hosted by the Lorain County Commissioners, has been exploring the feasibility of commuter rail on the existing Norfolk Southern line from Cleveland westward to Lorain and beyond. Numerous meetings were hosted to generate buy-in from the various communities along this line. Congresswoman Betty Sutton has secured a $343,000 earmark for the Lorain Commissioners to perform an alternatives analysis study that will determine whether this project meets the Federal Transit Administration New Start's cost effectiveness index project evaluation criterion. That's quite a mouthful, but you know, when you deal with the feds, you have to meet their criteria, otherwise you just don't make the ballgame. If it does, we can then apply for entry into and start preliminary engineering and begin the environmental impact studies that examine such things as noise, vibration, and grade crossing impacts. Ohio Department of Development grant. The commissioners were awarded an $80,000 ODOT grant on behalf of the Alliance to conduct a stormwater management study that will investigate the options and feasibility alternatives to the existing fragmented approach by individual governments to address flood control issues. The commissioners have contracted with the Public Services Institute here at the college under the direction of Shara Davis, and their first meeting was held this morning. I met Shara on my way in, and she said they had met. Now I would like to introduce Dan Gouch. Is Dan here? He was at the meeting this morning. See, he can't be out of the office too long. This is speaking about stormwater. I'm pleased to announce that Dan Gouch has been approved by the Ohio EPA as a qualified data collector in 3 different specialties, the third being chemical water quality assessment, effective December of this year, 2008. Dan is one of only 6 individuals in the state of Ohio with 3 such QDC certifications. He is an employee of the Lorain County Community Development Department. His certifications allow him to collect what is defined as level 2 data, which can be used to evaluate the effectiveness of pollution controls, to conduct initial screening of water quality conditions, and to promote public awareness and education about surface waters of the state. Local watershed groups, such as those coordinated by Dan, are in a position to perform the valuable function of monitoring long-term surface water quality trends in the Black River watershed. Ohio EPA does not have the resources to frequently visit this particular area. Dan is also authorized to draft project study plans to the Ohio EPA for approval, which then allows for data collected to be formally submitted and recognized by the agency. He has one such study plan already approved and currently being implemented in the French Creek watershed. We look for him to be very involved in this stormwater grant process that has been approved by the commissioners. And finally, I would like to introduce Virginia Haynes, who is the coordinator for the Lorain County Community Alliance. Virginia, would you please stand? The Alliance has gained well-deserved recognition throughout Lorain County and Northeast Ohio. During a session at Youngstown State University, Virginia, was asked to speak about the Alliance's efforts to gain collaborative governance. The Youngstown State audience was encouraged to take note and to address collaboration within their communities. Now, more than ever, governmental agencies, nonprofit organizations, and businesses must join forces to streamline services and ideas in our region, avoiding duplication of efforts and in saving resources and money. Groundhog Day, February 6th. It's already passed, but we're celebrating it February 6th, Friday. This Friday, Team Lorain County, a public-private partnership which you've already been introduced to, its Executive Director, Steve Morey, which promotes business and the Alliance, Virginia and her minions, are joining forces to welcome the 3rd annual Groundhog Day at the Lorain County Administration Building, beginning with a 7:30 a.m. breakfast. Anybody who would like to come, I think Chris can make room for you. See Chris Kirsch, where are you, Chris? Raise your hand. She's here. We'll share our donuts. I'd also like to publicly thank Dr. Church at this time, because the Alliance, and you were given a pamphlet at your chair, is 13 years old this year, and Dr. Church has long been a supporter of the Alliance, and through the support we have received from him and the Public Services Institute, we continue to exist. And we have a mission. If we can just fulfill it, it would be good for Lorain County. Now, Commissioner Kayla complained last year because he had to follow me, and he said I took all the good stuff. I think you heard him talk, and he didn't leave much left for anybody else to say. So I'm publicly complaining. And these are my concluding remarks. Taxpayers today expect county commissioners to take on new responsibilities of local government while living within previous levels of revenue. That means paying for traditional county government services, which include issuing auto titles, recording real estate deeds, running elections, assisting in soil and water conservation, assessing property for taxation, providing for agriculture extension and veteran services, as well as making local transportation improvements. This all adds up to making tough budget decisions and dividing scarce resources and funding among other elected officials and agencies. Lorain County has not had an increase in the percentage of the sales tax since 1995. That's 13 years. 13 years. But we suffered a severe loss to our general fund of $3.5 million from the state local government fund starting in 2007 due to a shift in the formula based on population. The commissioners, as was said, have passed an emergency 0.5% sales tax increase to be effective April 1st, while placing the issue on the November ballot seeking voter approval to retain this additional sales tax. We need your support to keep Lorain County moving forward. Please help us in this endeavor. Thank you.
Hello again. I actually got some good news. I was just informed by Commissioner Kayla. I believe he spoke to Jose Candelario, who's our director out at the Board of Elections. Did you speak to Jose? He's not here today, but what they're doing is they're reducing their hours, their staff hours, by closing on Fridays and non-election times. So that means a savings to the county of $200,000. So thank you, Jose. We really appreciate that. We actually need all of our departments to find ways of cost-saving measures. This will conclude our 3rd annual State of the County Address. We are pleased that you could all join us today. We are all facing difficult times and challenges, and we'd like to make Lorain County better than ever. So I want to thank Frank Titilio and the Chamber of Commerce and Dr. Church here at Lorain County Community College. Thank you again, and be safe on your way home and to work. Thank you. I'd like to thank the Lorain County Chamber of Commerce and Lorain County Community College and all of our staff that worked very hard to put together our State of the County Address yesterday. After it was over with, though, I ran into Jerry Dahl, who is our director at Golden Acres Nursing Home. Unfortunately, I had my piece that I was doing, Ted had his, and Betty had hers, and neither one of us knew what the other one was going to be speaking on, and Golden Acres got left out. And they are one of our great stories to tell, and I feel really bad about it, but we did get some information from Jerry Dahl. She does a great job out there, and let me just read you what she sent to us. The county nursing home continues to provide quality skilled nursing rehabilitation services to the residents of Lorain County. They also offer a specialized memory care center for those dealing with Alzheimer's disease. Enjoying and entertaining activities is an important role in promoting health. One of the highlights for the year was making the local and national news when the residents and staff nurtured 2 baby goats after being abandoned by their mother. Golden Acres had a positive bottom line, way to go, for 2008, adding to the reserve of a total of $2.5 million. Prior to Ted and I becoming commissioners, the County General Fund, had to subsidize the home, so that's really great news. They employ a total of 76 dedicated staff members, including 6 RNs, 17 LPNs, 26 STNAs, and 27 support staff. The average resident occupancy rate was 90%, which was 16% skilled, 19% self-pay, and 65% Medicaid. A total of 32% of residents discharged were able to return to their home after reaching therapy goals. Golden Acres continues to exceed expectations as seen in the Ohio Department of Aging Family Satisfaction Survey with an overall score of 89.2%. God bless you. Economic challenges due to inadequate Medicaid funding over the past 5 years. Golden Acres is represented by Ohio Healthcare Skilled Nursing Home Coalition. The coalition is requesting that Governor Strickland increase the statewide average Medicaid rate by 3% over the next 2 years so that patient care is not jeopardized. This action is imperative just to cover the cost of caring for patients who have more care needs, requiring more staff time and increases in medical supplies. So thank you, Jerry. We apologize for leaving you out. Like I told you yesterday, you're one of the best kept secrets in Lorain County.
Pedestrian injuries represent the second largest number in motor-related deaths. In the current report by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, of the 812 traffic fatalities for children ages 5 to 9, almost 1/3, that's 254, were pedestrian fatalities. These numbers were just very staggering to me in this office. Most of these were from pedestrian crossings, children not educated in crossing streets where there are sidewalks and obviously stoplights, or where there are no sidewalks and there are stop signs. So basically, it was based on the fact that they aren't getting proper education, or they hadn't any education on how to cross streets with sidewalks or without sidewalks. So that's what really got us motivated to look into this and do something about it.
County Engineer's Office is quite proud to announce that the Safe Routes to School program has been initiated throughout Lorain County. We're very excited about this. To help these children from grades K to 4, teaching them to walk the streets safely is very important to us. We've seen statistics that quite frankly shock us. Many times we read and see stories of pedestrians being hit by automobiles in Lorain County, and it just tears my heart to see these children from K to 4 part of that. This program is to stop that, to help diminish those type of situations, and to educate these children on crossing the street safely, and we're quite happy to announce that.
Most of our workshop was developed and made in-house. Simulated sidewalks, simulated streets, We have actual working stoplights. We have the pedestrian crossing signs that actually work. We have operational railroad crossings. We also have the regular road signs like your pedestrian crossing, your stop sign, your railroad sign. So we have all of these different things that the children can not only visualize, but then we actually interact the children in those situations so they can not only see but they can use these in their learning abilities on how to cross the streets with and without sidewalks. We've had so many good responses back from the children, and of course it's just like anything else with children. When you ask for volunteers, when you're talking in a group of 60 and you can only have 8, it's amazing at the hands that go up. You know, does anybody want to volunteer? Well, everybody wants to volunteer. We make them go over these skills that we're trying to teach them, not only the volunteers but the group as a whole. So basically we have the whole class interacting. So if they say left, right, left, behind you, in front of you once, they say it at least 8 or 10 times before the workshop is over. So we've had many teachers and many principals tell us, and we even had one child that came up to us and said, you know what, Miss Spansky, we were going to cross the street the other day and we remembered, look left, look right, look left. So that was very rewarding. And so I think the repetition, the interaction with the children and with the items in our workshop is very important to them and to us. Before you even go into the safety part of it, they're in awe over the traffic light, and then our railroad crossing signals actually work. So they're just like, oh, ooh. And we get up there and we tell them, and we even give them some trick questions. You know, we'll say, well, we can see that train all the way down the track. Do you think we can make it, because you're fast and I'm fast and we can run? And of course they're very enthusiastic and no, we shouldn't do this. So we teach them that in some urban areas you will not have the gates that come down to keep you actually from crossing, that you may just have 2 sets of tracks, and just because one goes by and the signals stop doesn't mean that another one can't come from the other direction. So we tell them it's very, very imperative that they stay back from the tracks and they wait till those signals stop and to look both ways. And even once those signals stop, to look both ways, and they should never run across the railroad tracks. They should walk and continue to look both ways, because it's not safe and they could fall. They could injure themselves. If they're alone, if they're not with someone, it could be very dangerous, because not only could they injure themselves, they may not have help if there is a train coming, because they are so small. And as you know, some of those tracks are very large, and you're talking in kindergarten through 4th grade, some of those children are very small children. The main thing is that we tell them that only you know when it's safe. You have to make that ultimate decision. So make sure that you know that it's safe before you cross those railroad tracks or a street. One of the other things that we cover in the safety workshop, and it's also repeated in our video, children don't have that perception of the miles per hour. It's very dangerous. And the same thing with trains. We tell them that train could take, you know, forever. It's way down there, but we don't know the actual miles per hour. We decided to use 2 different videos. The first one is geared for kindergarten and 1st grade, and that is Otto the Otto, put out by AAA.
Hi, kids. A lot of times you have to walk to get to places. And when you're walking, you have to be especially careful of cars and bicycles. Oh no, those kids are walking the wrong way. That's dangerous. I'm going to talk with these kids. Down at the clubhouse, they're talking about the safe way to walk on streets without sidewalks.
I say you can walk across the street anywhere you want, as long as you look first. And don't get squished flat by a car. That's a fairly simple way of looking at safety. There are actual rules and laws for walking. Yeah, but the most important one is you don't get squished flat. Who's right, Maggie? Patrick or us?
I guess in a sense, everyone's right. The main idea is to get there safely, but there are some rules to help you get there safely, like don't run out into the street without looking.
The second video, we show 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade, and it is put together by the National Safety Council along with Honda, and they developed the first humanoid robot.
Hey, Osmo. What's up, Osmo? How's it going? Osmo, this is Michael. Michael, this is Osmo.
How come you're dressed in a robot suit? It's not a suit. I'm a real robot. My name, Osimo, stands for Advanced Step in Innovative Mobility. I'm the world's most advanced humanoid robot. I can walk forwards, backwards, and even climb stairs just like a human. So, what's the first rule about crossing the street?
Stopping at curbs.
Correct. First, always stop at the curb. Then make sure no cars are coming. You want to look left.
It's clear.
Then right to see if any cars are coming from the other direction.
That's clear too.
Cars move fast. There might already be a new car to the left. So look left again.
Car coming.
See what I mean? Okay, he's gone.
Kids love this. They relate to Osmo as well as the younger children relate to Otto, who is an animated automobile. And he tells them about crossing streets. Osmo does the same thing, and he actually goes through with the children and tells them how to cross the street at an intersection with a traffic light, with the pedestrian crossing. He also teaches them how to cross because a lot of children at schools have parked cars. He goes over the issues of how to cross when there are parked cars. So he does a number of different things, how to cross the street when there are no sidewalks. So they both cover the basic skills. One is just geared a little bit more for the different age groups. Our response has been amazing, not only from the children. We have received numerous cards. I have a whole box of thank yous from children from the schools where we have that have participated in our workshop. We've had nothing but a positive response back throughout the communities that we visited this year.
I think it was really nice because they had a real life robot talk to you about safety, and you got to actually do what he said was safe. He said when there are parked cars to make sure there are no drivers in before you cross the street.
I saw that we could know what to do when there's cars coming, not to go in the middle of the road so you don't get hurt. You have to look left, right, left, behind the shoulder, and then straight. If they don't know how to stop at sidewalks, then I'll tell them how to. If they don't know how to cross without sidewalks, then I'll tell them how to do that too, because that's what we learned. I think that it was good because I didn't know that you had to look 5 ways, which were left, right, left, and going over your shoulder, and then ahead of you. I thought that crossing the road was really good for little kids if they don't know what to do by crossing the road.
It's a good idea because, like I said, the kids could walk through the whole process of crossing streets with the crosswalk, without a crosswalk, at the intersection. What happens if you're crossing in between 2 parked cars? Those are things that parents don't teach their kids. They go to Safety Town and they learn left, look right, look left again, and they go. And even my own son, who's a kindergartner, he just did Safety Town, and I still catch him flying across the street. And all I have to do is say, Matthew, remember Osmo? And he stops and he thinks and he does all the steps that he was taught in the video.
It was a great refresher, especially for them, now knowing, you know, what to do and kind of even additional things that they may not have been told or considered before.
Most of the kids did their little safety program back when they were getting ready to go to kindergarten. They start out learning all those safety rules. Then as time goes on, if you don't reinforce those safety rules and keep telling them, just like we do as adults, we think we're safe. We don't have to follow those rules anymore. We can do what we want. We can take a chance and run across the road. And I think this program was very good at reinforcing the fact that even though we're growing up, we still have to be careful. We still have to follow the signs. We still have to follow the railroad crossings, especially around here in Amherst. We tend to have a little trouble with the railroad crossings and kids wanting to play on them. So I think it was a good review. I think it was done in a fun, learning way, and the kids really enjoyed it. We were very happy to have everyone here at St. Joseph's School.
If it saves one life, we feel like we've made a contribution. It's our way to give back to the communities.
There, here, have a treat, okay? No one can deny the loving devotion we get from our dogs, and I think we all agree we get back more love than we give them. I'm Dick Goddard. I'm reminding you, if you share your love with a dog, you'll never regret it. There's really nothing like a dog to spark up your life, whether you're a youngster, a senior citizen, or somewhere in between. And dogs have a whole lot of affection to share. Okay, is that good? You don't have to go far to hear heartwarming adoption stories.
With my husband is like saying man's best friend. He truly loves that dog. He feels it's part human. It's his second daughter, as Erica said. It's definitely a prize. She's queen of the house, basically. She's a good lover. She gives us a lot of attention. She's a good girl.
We had a cat before we had Abby, and Abby adapted very well. She is best friends with that cat. She will not harm that cat in any way. She's amazing. I love her. When I'm in bed at night, Abby will jump up with me and she will pull the covers back and she will lay under the covers and lay her head on the pillow just like a human.
I encourage anyone to go to the Lorain County Kennel to adopt a dog. It's given our family great satisfaction and a great reward.
After, you know, a bad day at work or anytime you come home, it's just always nice. They kind of turn your mood around when you come in the door and they wagging their tails and jumping on you, and it's a great feeling to know that they're happy to see you and that they love you just as much as you love them. She is good with our other dog. She's good with people. She likes attention, and she likes to cuddle up with you.
It's funny when Lily, when you kind of discipline her sometimes when she does something bad, or she always seems to roll on her back and put her paws in the air and just look up at you with a sad look. So it's kind of hard to even get mad at her when she does something like that. So we kind of laugh at that.
And it's always amusing when she does get a spurt of energy and want to run around, and we're always like, oh my gosh, Lily's gonna play now.
Yeah,
so
like sometimes, like when I'm on the couch or whatever, and she'll hop down, and she always like tries to bite her own tail, and then that kind of like keys on our other dog, Rocky, to chime in and try to, you know, bite at her tail a little bit, and then they start playing around a little bit.
One day we came home with some food from I just really wanted a burger. So we had a burger, and I had it sitting on the tray table by the couch, and I got up for a minute and got a drink, came back, and Lily was licking her lips. She had eaten the whole thing, and I was not very happy with her. So I screamed and told Kurt to come down and get her away from me because I was just so upset. But we both lived, and I was fine afterwards. One of the best things about adopting a dog from the kennel, at least for us, was, again, just giving this dog, who knows what would have happened to her, a new life, and also giving our other dog a companion during the day. It's just fun to have the two dogs and take them for walks and watch them play, and it brought us closer as well.
You know, it just makes you feel better as a person that, you know, you're giving a dog a better chance to live a life.
Actually, I enjoy the exercise because I need to, trying to lose weight. Salem makes me get out of the house every day. And so I have to take him for a walk, even if I don't want to. And he's not that much trouble because he was pretty much housebroken when I got him from the pound. I really like the older pet because Salem was kind of, whoever had him before, they really kind of housebroke him. So I didn't really have to go through the potty training deal. I just had to let him out and find a place for him to go. And I think older pets, especially for people who don't have children, are kind of good because Salem, he's real playful, but he's not, he gets tired and he lays down and he doesn't want to be bothered, and that's fine with me. So he's not always wanting to play, you know, because puppies have a lot of energy. And Salem has quite a bit of energy, but sometimes he just lays on his pillow and he's like, don't bother me, I won't bother you. And sometimes when he wants to play, and that's okay. I got Salem at the Lorain County Dog Pound. I found him on the internet, actually. They had his picture on the internet, and so I called and he was still there, and so I immediately went over and looked at him. We went outside and played, and he jumped in the car and wouldn't get out, and there we were. So we were on our way home. So it was love at first sight. He's a very good companion. I can always depend on him to be here and greet me with, you know, open arms when I come in the door. He's very protective of me, and he lets me know when anyone is outside or in the driveway. So I feel safe with Salem. You know, even though he's a small dog, he gives me a safe feeling just in my own home. If I'm having a bad day sometimes and I'm just not in a real good mood, you know, he'll come up and snuggle up to me like, hey, Mom, it's okay. I think other people should adopt a pet, and even an older dog. The Lorain County Pound has so many wonderful dogs. All you have to do is go over there and look. I mean, even now, I still go on the website and I tell Salem, don't you want a little brother or sister? Because they have all these little cute dogs over there, and they all need good homes. And if you're looking to adopt a pet, I suggest you try the Lorain County Dog Pound first. I mean, you pay for the license and just a nominal fee, and you got a great dog and a great companion and somebody that's going to be in your life for the rest of your life, and they'll love you no matter what.
Hello, my fellow commissioners and I are here at the Lorain County Dog Kennel on Hadaway Street, just south of Elyria City Discount, Value City. We invite you to stop out and see the facility here. We have lots of dogs available for adoption. We also encourage all dog owners to register your dog each year and get a dog license. That's your dog's ticket home in case it gets lost. It has a number and can easily be identified so that your dog can be returned to you in case he or she might take a little walk and you are unaware of it.
Along with the regular licensing that the county requires for all dogs, we also have a special dog license. It's a special heart medical care license tag for an additional $5. And the proceeds from that go to help us when we pick up a stray that's injured, hurt, or needs extreme medical care. It helps defer the cost for us. So next time you get your dog license, please pick up the special heart tag.
The Lorain County Commissioners would like to welcome you to come down to the Lorain County Dog Kennel. We also have a website that you can check out. Just click on Dogs to Adopt. There's plenty of dogs to choose from. Just like this little girl right here. This is Sadie. You can come down, make sure it's a good match for you, take the dog out, take it for a walk. But please, if you're thinking about adopting a dog, come out to the Lorain County Dog Kennel and see if there's a match for you.
Give the Lorain County Dog Kennel a call or check their website for photos of currently available dogs. Remember, your best friend is just waiting for you.
In 1787, the Continental Congress organized the lands from the Ohio River to the Mississippi into the Northwest Territories. In 1803, the first of these territories to become a state was Ohio. Ohio was in turn divided into various land grants, including the Connecticut Western Reserve in the northeast corner of the state. The Western Reserve included the area that is today Lorain County. As Ohio gradually increased its counties to the present 88, the land we know as Lorain County went through several changes. Until 1810, the area was split between Geauga and Portage counties. When the area was being organized into Lorain County in 1822, it was created out of land from Huron, Cuyahoga, and Medina counties. At the time of its birth, Lorain County included Olmsted Township, now in Cuyahoga County, Spencer and Homer Townships, now in Medina County, and Troy and Sullivan Townships, now in Ashland County. This map illustrates the county as it appeared at the time of Ohio's centennial, and although some of the townships have been absorbed by incorporation, it also represents the shape of Lorain County today. Let's take a brief historical look at each of Lorain County's 21 townships. In 1807, the Calvin Hoadley and Herman Bronson families of Waterbury, Connecticut, began the settlement of Columbia. After a 3-month trek, the pioneers arrived in their new homeland in time to celebrate Christmas. The Bronsons, including their 7-month-old son, began that winter sheltered by their overturned bobsled wagon, converted into a frontier lean-to. The mouth of the Black River also saw the beginning of its first settlement in 1807, when Azariah Beebe established a trading post for Nathan Perry. This area, which 20 years earlier had seen a short-lived Moravian mission, would gradually grow into the village of Charleston in the township called Black River. Years later, this township would be removed from county maps because of the incorporation of the city of Lorain. Charleston adopted the county's name of Lorain when the city was incorporated in 1874. The dramatic growth of the city was spurred on by the expanding fishing and shipbuilding industries. In 1894, when Tom Johnson brought his steel mill to town, Lorain's destiny to be the county's largest city was assured. In 1813, the township of Ridgeville was officially organized. 3 years earlier, members of the Beebe, Terrell, and Root families had established this new settlement they called Rootstown. The change to Ridgeville was decided upon to indicate the sand ridges that passed through the area and provided transportation routes and fertile farmland. The area around the intersection of Butternut Ridge and Roots Road, first called Briggs Corner, was by 1880 known as Fields Corners and was the site of the town's water well. With the growth of the city of North Ridgeville, the township of Ridgeville was incorporated out of existence. In 1810, Silas Wilmot, along with Asa and Ira Morgan, erected a cabin on Butternut Ridge, and the community later called Eaton Township was begun. Wilmot married Chloe Hubbard of Ashtabula, and they were given the cabin, thereby becoming the township's pioneering couple. When Ridgeville Township was organized in 1813, it included Eaton, which was at that time called Holbrook. While the area was still a part of Cuyahoga County, the township of Eaton was separated from Ridgeville. Its first officers were elected in 1823, while the township was in transition to the new Lorain County. Amherst's township's founding can be traced to one Jacob Shoup. After first settling on the Black River, he moved in 1811 to the Beaver Creek. By 1815, he had erected a grist mill and the area's first distillery. Whiskeyville, today the intersection of Routes 58 and 113, earned its nickname as a center for the production of this important pioneer commodity. As the primary community of the township developed at the Old Spring, it came to be known as Amherst Corners. By 1836, the name Amherstville was recorded in the county offices, and in 1873, the town was incorporated as North Amherst. In 1909, the U.S. Postal Service had to choose between the villages of North and South Amherst. They chose the former, which then became the official and present-day Amherst. In 1917, in the northeast corner of the county, the township of Avon became another of Lorain County's 21 townships to vanish due to city incorporation. In 1814, Wilbur Cahoon had arrived from Montgomery County, New York, to become the first to settle in what was then Troy Township of Cuyahoga County. The farming community grew around its power source, the French Creek. Development along the interurban line would incorporate the northern part of the township into the city of Avon Lake in 1911, with the remainder of the township becoming the village of Avon in 1917. It was families such as the Burrell, Day, and Roots who established themselves in the Sheffield area in 1815 and 16. The township of Sheffield would not actually be created until 1824, when the newly elected Lorain County Commissioners made the township one of the first acts of their administration. The land had been primarily in Cuyahoga County prior to the 1822 reorganization. The southwest corner of the township was in Huron County and is today the only place to find a small section still called Sheffield Township. The remainder of the area has been incorporated, like its neighbor Avon, with the north becoming Sheffield Lake and the south the village of Sheffield. In 1816, Colonel Henry Brown of Stockbridge, Massachusetts, purchased a large tract of land known as Number 6, Range 19. Mr. Brown would later name the township after himself by simply adding Helm to his family name. Like the Old Saxon Ham, the suffix meant home. The Deacon Shepherd family were the first settlers when they arrived on July 4, 1817. The village of Brownhelm Mills, located in Benjamin Bacon's Mill Hollow, was one of 3 communities to develop. Bacon's Corners, or the center, was 3 miles east of the hollow, while just west of the hollow was Rugby, where stores, a church, a school, and the post office were located. The first settlers to the Grafton Township area were Jonathan and Grendall Rawson in 1816. 10 years later, the Rawsons were forced to build a grist mill, or forfeit their land under their original agreement with the Western Reserve Land Company. Railroads and quarries were the greatest influence on the growth of the village the locals called Rawsonville. The quarrying industry in particular was responsible for the influx of French-Canadian, Welsh, Irish, Polish, and German immigrants. In 1877, when the village was being incorporated, the name Rawsonville was dropped in favor of the railroad station name of Grafton. Originally a part of Elyria Township, Carlisle was settled in 1816 by John Bacon of Windham County, Vermont. When the new Lorain County was being organized in 1822, Carlisle Township became its own entity. LaPorte developed as the township village with Phineas Johnson as the first postmaster and hotel owner. In 1840, Anson Brayman's Carlisle Nursery became the first of its kind in Lorain County. Quarrying was another important industry of the township, as the sandstone blocks were used for city buildings as far away as Toronto. Founding father Heman Ely owned over 10,000 acres of the land that would be developed into the township of Elyria, and the city which also bears his family name. In 1817, Artemus Beebe headed a work crew that came to establish a new village at the Y of the Black River branches. Mills were constructed and the main street cleared. Beebe's crew also erected a home for Mr. Ely at Broad and East Bridge Streets, and a home for himself across the street, which became the Beebe Tavern. Both structures avoided demolition until well into the 20th century. In 1822, Mr. Ely spearheaded the movement to create Lorain County. He donated the land for the county courthouse, thus influencing the choice of Elyria as the county seat. Mr. Ely's little village would develop into a city with a varied industrial base, as well as the center of government for Lorain County. Simon Durand came to America as an interpreter for Revolutionary War hero French General Lafayette. Durand remained in the new nation, and in the winter of 1817 moved from New York State to the 160 acres he had purchased south of Brownhelm. 10 years later, the population of the area was enough to support the formation of a new township. With the southern portion ceded to Brighton and the northern portion annexed from Brownhelm, the township of Henrietta was created in 1827.